I love you, I love you, I love you. Hello, Sahar. Hello, Masi number 8. Hi. Namaste. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Hi, Murtaza, Nigara. Hello. What a beautiful day, guys. What an amazing time we're living in, huh? So exciting, full of surprises, and beautiful. Are you guys excited about your new life path, opening up a new chapter? Yes. Hi, Firuza John. Hello. Yeah. I am very excited about the time coming because, as you all know, we are living in the fastest speed right now. Everything is changing so quickly. Hi, Marjan June. Good to have you here. Yeah. Hello, Dr. Afsoon. Hello, hello. Yeah. So, what I'm saying right now, I can see the new things coming to my way. Yes, yes. The manifestation is so fast and quick at the moment that is just bringing us so much joy, and it makes it so much more amazing and interesting, and we need to be much more aware of our thoughts. What are we thinking? The quality of our thoughts, the quality of our emotions, how much joy and happiness and acceptance and self-love and self-worth are we carrying right now at this moment? Remember when the energy of planet Earth shifts and it comes faster, quicker, whatever we think about or whatever we feel or the energy or frequencies that we send out into the world, it becomes much quicker. We manifest things much quicker, good or bad. So it's great for us to be more conscious right now and be very aware of what we're thinking. Remember, our thoughts could be negative or positive, but at this moment, since we are so aware, we're choosing every thought. Everything is prosperous. Everything is here to help me. So if we make this our mantras, that everything is here to help me, and we come out of our judgmental lens that something is, this event is good or this event is bad. If we take our judgment out of this whole creation, how much easier would it be and how much nicer? Hi, Leila. Hello. Hi, Hazel. Good to have you guys here. Yes. So, write a comment for me right now, guys. How aware are you every day? How consciously are you living your lives? Are you fully here, present at each moment? Are you aware that everything is your creation, good and bad? My name is not Sufi, honey. It's Sudi. Sudabe, Sudi as short. After so many times trying, suddenly I got pregnant, but I'm just thinking about all problem can happen to me. Well, are you aware that you're choosing at every minute? Are you okay with this? Because remember, if you find out that you're pregnant, from this moment on, everything that you think about, everything that you feel, every word that you use, that child is going to be picking up and carrying it on for entity, as long as that kid is living here on planet Earth. So I want you to be extremely mindful to see, are you ready spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically to carry your child and give birth to this child? If you're not, you might want to reconsider your options. Okay? So basically, don't do anything that you're not ready for. And if you're not sure that you want to have a child right now, maybe it's best to think about your other option. Okay, no, that's okay, honey. But what I'm asking you right now, love, is, are you ready for this? Spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, are you ready for this? And I just want you to be aware that this, whatever you think about, you are giving birth to, and that child is carrying on and picking up everything that you're thinking. That kid is going to have to live with this for the rest of her or his life, that I was wanted, they wanted me, or they didn't want me. So be very careful with the decision that you're making right now. I was aware of my energy yesterday and what I'm sending to people and seeing. That's great. Yes, yes. Okay, here is my guest. We have an amazing guest today, guys. He's a shaman and he's going to be Namaste.
Namaste. Hotep.
It is a pleasure for me to have you here, and we're very happy and excited that you accepted to be with us today and to join life together.
Well, thanks for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. It's been a beautiful day here in Ibiza, so it's nice to connect with the LA energy and have this discussion. I'm very excited to converse with you and see what the people have to say. Hi, everyone.
Yes, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, this year in Los Angeles, I live in Los Angeles. The weather has been amazing. We hardly experience any winter. It's sunny every day, warm. As you see, I'm in a dress right now. Beautiful sun and warm. So it's great. How about where you're at?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Likewise, it's in Europe, but it's been the most amazing European winter I've ever seen. There was a lot of snow and cold in London. I do like the snow, but here, because I just moved here in November, so it's part of my manifestation and ascendance of what I'm doing in life. But yeah, it's been beautiful. Sea, sun, some grey days, but grey days are important too because they make you value the sun even more.
Exactly. Yes. So let's dive into our topic today. I'm going to hand it to you and take us wherever you're guided or you think we should lead us to.
Okay. So I thought, seeing as we have the name Shaman, it's good to talk about shamanic lineages, the ancient and traditional shamanic path, and the new path that's emerging for sort of the modern interpretation of ancient shamanism. So my name is Marv Radio. I am, above all things, a voice. That's what I identify the most as. I'm a singer, rapper, beatboxer, do sound healing, teach meditation. I've been to the Amazon 3 times to learn from master shamans how to heal in certain ways. Been to the Ecuadorian mountains, also trained with other people in the mountains, different modalities and different sort of plant-based lineages, so to speak. And I am currently in a really exciting momentum point, so it's great to be on this live, as I can feel for the first time in my adult life, that key word being adult, because as a child I felt it, I can feel how I'm making the world that I live in front of me with how I speak, act, and interpret all my situations. So yeah, I could go on, but essentially I've had the absolute privilege to be able to travel and connect with authentic traditional shamanism. And ever since I met certain spirit guides and was learning how to do certain types of healing, I would hear the voices of these plants saying, we've been waiting for you to come along with what you do. And because I beatbox, for me, beatboxing, rapping, singing, the voice is medicine. I can give a very quick example, and then I think it'd be good if we do a bit of back and forth, and maybe you can ask me a few things. But for example, we can take it from the very soft energy with the voice and purely meditative and go do something like, or we could do something a little bit more mainstream, upbeat, that anybody can listen to while getting healed without even thinking about it. So we could be like, it's all about love, 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 love. So with voice, what I've noticed with every shamanic community that I visited, they had very unique and different ways of using their voice, different languages, and their languages in these shamanic states would create worlds and geometry as I'm experiencing their culture. So yeah, a lot of things to speak on, but I think I'd like to pass it over to you. And it's my first time meeting you. I've looked at the page. It would be good to hear a little bit about your perspective on it, how you view the particular connection to the shamanic healing vibe and upliftment for the people, connection, union, yoga, whatever we call it.
Yes. Well, thank you. That was beautiful. Basically, for you to know a little bit about me, I also went to Peru, to the Amazon jungles, and worked with the shamans and that stuff. But maybe I can get some help from you here, because the healing, the spirituality healing, and doing the shamanism ceremony, it was just something that kind of just fell down in my lap. And I tried for many years, because I've been doing this for the last 13, 14 years. But I don't know how to break this down and teach it to others. You know, like for instance, I have done huge seminars and ceremonies in Dubai, in Baku, in Turkey many times, and even in California. But it's like, I feel like at the moment when I'm doing that, it's like I am sort of conscious, but I know that I have so many helpers, so many guides, if you want to call them, and they're running the show, they're doing the work. Now, when I come to, so when I want to teach that, break it down somehow to teach this to others, I'm not able to do that. What's your thought on this?
Right, this is a really good question. In my opinion, everybody has the ability to heal themselves, but not everybody is called to work shamanically and to be involved in all of the worlds of shamanism. So we can always teach, and really, we're never really teaching this. We're just sharing, because there's no, you could go 100 miles in the Amazon and find two different shamans doing things completely differently. One might drink alcohol. I've drunk alcohol in a ceremony with a particular shaman, and it works out well. And then other shaman has been like, nope, you don't drink alcohol. And generally I don't drink. So what we have is I always say we have Reiki masters, we have all kinds of people that can activate and awaken people. But ultimately, it's the deep calling and actual resonance with the shamanic path and the losses. And I'm sure you've had your sacrifice. I'm sure you had things where it's looked like perhaps you might lose your life or lose everything you work for. This is part of the path that you take as someone who works shamanically and takes responsibility for everything. So essentially, one of the things that I really had struggled with for many years when learning my path, first of all, I didn't just imitate what someone else taught me. I learned what they learned, and then at the same time was open to hearing from my guides that I had from a child, like from being able to speak to certain characters and seeing them. And also, being able to have certain journeys where, I never believed in spirit. As a kid, yes, but as an adult, I didn't believe in spirit until I was dumped headfirst in the spirit realm. And that teaching caused a lot of mental anguish and a lot of difficulty for me. So ultimately, your responsibility is to tell your story and shine your light so that others may find their healing path. But ultimately, we can't teach. And I know that there's all kinds of things, medicine wheels, all kinds of programs that people do, and they make good money and they do good work. And I'm not saying that people can't, learn how to do shamanic work. I just say that the depth of connection that we have with shamanism is preordained for the people who are really, really called for it, and it's how their life is set up. And not everybody goes to the fringe of society like that. I've just seen a message on the Instagram saying, can we talk about the throat chakra? So maybe I'll pass that back to you now and just say, what is your awareness of the importance of the throat chakra and this energy center in delivering sort of the new Earth Testament, the sort of ancient futurism where we meet the ancient and the traditional, and we meet ourselves in the future.
Yeah. So basically, people come up with different talents, or we, as you know, we have come up with this. Our soul has chosen like what areas are what we're going to have more strength, what areas we have less strength and weaker or whatever, and how we decide to make this dance of maybe putting more energy on one side and taking away some energy or shift the energy somewhere else. So as far as throat chakra, my experience has been that a lot of people have issues with this because it comes from our expression. And so many people are so afraid to show their true selves because as a child they have always been wrong for shining and to speaking and to showing themselves off. They've been shut down. So as they grow, the subconscious has picked up this wrong belief that is not safe for me, or I'm not protected. If I come across like with my truth, and so many people, either they don't know what their truth is, or if they know, they don't know how to speak it. They don't have the courage to speak it and to be expressive. So I see a lot of people have issues with their throat chakra. And I talked about it. This is something else, like I talked in my life, that's something that I call like heart wall. Like so often when we go through traumas, especially when the traumas are emotional and is touching our emotional bodies, we feel that it's not safe to love or to be loved. So people start putting up walls around their heart, and they shut down their heart to like they dim the light from their heart. And when they speak, it doesn't come across straightforward, like they're saying something. And because of all those hard work, people are picking up and hearing something else. So it's a lot of miscommunication going on. So that's the main thing that I see with the throat chakra, that a lot of people have issues with. And I think it comes up from our childhood upbringing, that we're not good enough, we're not lovable, is not safe for us to shine. And I see that with so many people, they go through their lives living it so small, and they never really come out to fully be themselves and be authentic and be transparent. So back to you. What do you think about this?
Well, first of all, I really resonate with all of what you say, and that miscommunication, the use of language is it's a magic and a science, and in some ways it's like a religion because it binds things to it. But so I just want to quickly, I'll speak about that in a moment. But I saw that Light Sahar said it's a perfect example here. I know I have so many talents and skills, I just can't express myself. So those words, I just can't express myself. You have just put a spell on yourself that has been put on you in the past because of the difficulty you faced in trying to express your truth. But some truths are so deep and sometimes even ancestral that we find it hard to express that truth. And we might choke, stutter, say the wrong thing, get lost in the matrix of it all. And so I would say that we when you have a high level of power, especially within your voice, you have so much responsibility. You can't afford to be like, I'm not good at that, or oh, I'm only going to mess it up. It's like, don't crash. You know, you can't say these things when you've really awoken your throat chakra. So going beyond that, even, you know, I was raised Christian, but I'm not particularly a Christian now. But in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. Now, the voice doesn't belong to the humans. You hear voice in birds, you hear it in animals, you hear the voice and the resonance, the human frequency of the earth. You hear planets have sounds to them. And of course, the Most High Divine Creator, whatever form you see that being in, or that intelligence in, or that energy source in, that Most High in intelligence kind of, it is singing a song and telling a story. And we are the notes, the harmonies and melodies is how we come together, but also the characters, and we play out and meet each other in a hero's journey. All stories are the same. It's you come into life with innocence, you have a challenge, and then you find
take on your divine sort of state, so to speak. So yeah, with the voice, in my opinion, there's the literal part of it, which is obviously the voice, in terms of communication, words. And there's also the esoteric version of the voice. So, for example, light language. There's a lot of people who've awoken to new forms or old forms of communication that aren't so linguistically structured in terms of this means this. It's a vibration. So, for example, if I have permission to bring the language of light in this moment, Itaiwa kanaya simoya tish makoya na yehma tokia oya madatius komaya tish itaiwa kanai itiwaya esmbak atiwa. So that has its own interpretation. And when you say about communication issues, or because of this language and the way it's structured, it means something directly to whatever force is sending it through my open channel. It means something different to me as I'm expressing it. It means something different to every single human being who experiences it, but it is the core truth that comes up. So yeah, I've personally, the voice has been my obsession. It has been, when I wasn't empowered, one of the biggest prisons of my life, to build bars for myself and say I cannot reach this, or I'm not good enough for this, or no one will ever love me, or any of these things. You know, the voice is the difference between me when I was 15 and actually tried to take my own life due to depression, and me now at the age of 33 feeling like for the first time in my life, I'm really showing up. Like, I'm really showing up in life right now. I'm really turning up and going, hi guys, it's time for everything that we've been dreaming of doing. It's time now. So I am coming in this moment feeling so awakened and empowered in everything that I'm doing and what my voice is leading me towards, that I don't need to plan. I don't need to write a script or think what I'm going to say. I just respond honestly from the channel. So the voice is my obsession. The voice is incredible. You know, when you hear birds singing, when you hear even a sheep, or a cat purring is healing. So in terms of vibration, making the form and working with light to make physical form. So vibration or sound moving through light creates physical shadow, which creates physical form. So we say person, personas, of sound. We are of sound. We are beings of sound. And through being the material of the voice, when we embody the power of our voice, we then give our self over, as you say, to the higher vibrations that want to work through us when we accept that we're vessels. And you know, as much as a meat and bone shell, a living robot that can animate the divine principle. And that's where the voice for me holds. I don't know about yourself, but this is where I'd like to ask you. I've personally, from the shamanic experiences that I've had, I feel that they are contained within my voice. So if I want to lead people through a sound journey, I am having a sound journey this Saturday, by the way, with the Psychedelic Society. So this sound journey that I do, I use a loop station, I use sound tools, and I use different vocal tones and frequencies. And that allows people to have a safe psychedelic journey without having to take any psychedelics, full visualizations, unlocking their subconscious. And that's, yeah, if you go to marvradio.com/events, there's information about this event. So you can come and join me there. I won't speak too much about it, but essentially...
to do that. But why are you calling it psychedelic then, if you're not using any substance?
Yes, so psychedelic, the actual root of the word psychedelic is mind manifesting, essentially. So to manifest within consciousness. So you might see a big, scary, dark face to represent a shadow that you've particularly had, or an energy that has been draining you, or so to speak. So that's where people say they'd have a bad psychedelic trip. And people also see angels, they see guardians, they see gardens, they see wheels. So essentially psychedelic is to manifest the mind, in my words. So the actual how to speak, the actual experience of being psychedelic actually has nothing to do with any chemical compounds, because any psychedelic triggers something in us that we have. Some of the sadhus, some of the greatest gurus have been in the same state of, a deep ayahuasca trip through meditation or DMT. So yeah, it's all how we look at it, I think. So it's all about perception.
Yeah, we would love to join you. Yeah, I would have my assistant Sahar. She will put that information there. And by the way, guys, don't worry, this live will be saved here, and also we would upload it on YouTube, so you can keep watching it over and over again. Yeah, so I had this experience as a child. I used to be an entertainer and I used to sing, right? But many years ago, I had a car accident. I had a near-death experience, and I lost my voice at that time, right? So, and then I was doing a theater. I was on stage, and every time I had to project, I would lose my voice. And then it took me many years to realize, like, okay, maybe my mission this lifetime wasn't really to be an entertainer, a singer, or an actress, but it's the shamanism, the healing. But I really fight with it for many years. And then when I went to the Peru and I worked with a few different shamans, with the new shamans, as I was working, one of them, I did the 3 nights ayahuasca journey. And the first night, because he was a musician, he had all this background music. And it's, when you use psychedelic like ayahuasca, you just feel like there's so much echoes all around you. There are big mic. And I was wondering, like, it's just him. How can he play all this instrument, the flute, the drums, all of this, the didgeridoo at the same time? I was into such a deep trance, but I knew it's just him and me. It was just one-on-one. And it was like amazing. And then at some point he started to keep saying, "Mama sing, Mama sing." And I was irritated, and his name was Julian. And I started shouting. I said, "Julian, you know, I can't sing anymore. But he kept continuing, Mama sing. And then all of a sudden I start singing, and you know, like that voice that comes out, and it's at that point is not really your voice. And my voice kept going on, like you were doing it on and on. And I was thinking, oh my God, where's all this? Like, without, I didn't even have to take a breath. It was just flowing and it was just coming, right? So what do you take of that? Like why do we go through this? Is it a change of life path, or is it something that our ego mind thinks is interested and is passionate about, but our life purpose is actually so? What's your uptake on that?
That's a great question and a great story. I do wonder if this is the same Julian that I know who spends time between Peru and England, but there's many Julians who work with many plants.
Julian, this particular Julian, his wife is from Holland, Netherlands. And he has a lot of CDs with drums and flutes and all of this stuff. I can send you his info, maybe his pics and that stuff, and see. But
yeah,
I know
that'd be good.
I know he travels a lot, so it could be that he comes to England too. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it could be, but it's a common name. So I'm just wondering. So we'll check that thread out. And it's amazing to that you can have that experience and regenerate your voice. In that sense, trauma has a vibration to it, and sometimes it's just the fear of using your voice might have got you in trouble at some point. It might be that you got a physical injury and you hold that trauma, and that trauma weighs on you to the point where you can't, or it's really difficult to get access to your voice. Your voice is, I did just a interesting thing here. I did a project with laryngectomy patients who'd had their voice boxes removed, and we taught them how to beatbox, and they were finding they were having more expression with the machines that were giving them voices. But even those people whose voice boxes removed still had a voice and were able to sing somewhat and beatbox and bring things into it with the use of their tools, obviously. But there is a physical 3D realm, and then there is what is beyond that, and there's what vibrates lower than that. And in the physical realm, we might have what feels like a physical block to our voice. It might just be that you were 4 years old and you really loved the song, and you went, "Mama!" and your mom said, "Stop that! That sounds horrible! Don't sing!" And then you believe that for the rest of your life, and you never sing again. Or it could be the physical impact. But we are still, in my humble opinion, I don't have any science to back this up, so it's just my humble opinion, but we are liquid crystal interdimensional beings that take a solid form, and that liquid holds a light and a sound resonance. And we take solid form simply to have experiences within the 3D realm for ourselves to experience. We hold all of these pieces of ourselves together with consciousness, and part of that consciousness is voice, because voice is not sound. Now you must remember that. So I just had a voice in my head. I didn't say it out loud, but the voice is part of our way of identifying and recalling information. And that is where we go into Akashic Record. We talk about divine channels, people who can bring through, people who become animals, people who sing, people who play all kinds of instruments. And that, for me, with what I do, I can bring an invisible didgeridoo out of nowhere because A, of what I've trained as a beatboxer, and B, because of what the medicine showed me. So I can easily, do like I did before, the kind of like your voice can do so many. It's vibration. And at the end of the day, the more you can control your vibration, it seems, cliched hippie talk to say your vibration and raise your vibration, but that is what it is. It's what's making that physical form. So you connect into that divine vibration in that space, and the medicine speaking through Julian to say, "Sing, mama," and then you channeled and you brought it through because you got out of the way. You got out of your own way, and you got out of the way of the medicine, and it came into you. You have resistance because you have trauma, and the trauma tells you, I've had a traumatic outcome to something. You know, it could be as subconscious as that day where you had the accident. You might have said, "Oh man, you know, this is killing me," or like, "Oh, I can't do it." You can say something very, very flippantly, and still cause a butterfly effect. So ultimately, it goes on to a wider thing than the voice, but the way that we see the whole world right now, the structures we see, directly related to how we are relating with ourselves, our voices, and our essence of creation, because we are creating this format and we're going through an ascension point that's been prophesized for a very long time, and we've been going through difficult times so that we can appreciate and shine a light on them. So that trauma within your voice, you were able to transcend that because you weren't identifying as a trauma. You were ready to let go of it. And the more that you let go of things in life, the more that you can receive and call things in, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yes. So I kind of, I'm not saying don't quote me on this, but I just felt like anytime in my life where I wasn't really going through the directions that it was like my soul path or my real soul purpose. Some accident would happen because I was rushing very quickly. I mean, with my first, the first accident, car accident that I had, I used to be a personal trainer, right? So I used to go to the gym like 5 or 6 a.m., spend 16, 18 hours, and then I would become exhausted. And when I wanted to leave, my manager would run, "Where are you going? You still have people." And I was like, I was putting too much time and too many hours and too much energy. And I was frustrated and I wasn't enjoying it anymore because it was just a work and it was like too much pressure. So I was going too fast and too quickly, but it wasn't really my life purpose. I mean, I switched after that to, you know, so many different things. And I had the accident, and that car accident kind of slowed me down for a long time because that was a major injury, right? Until I recovered myself and I was able at my downtime, I was able to pick up pieces of those information that I got from the higher realm when I had near-death experience, and kind of getting pieces here and there and kind of make a meaning of it and see how can I use this in this realm, like on 3D world. Then again, something else happened. Like this past month, I got an injury on my hand, right? A huge dog bit me. And that was like out of nowhere. And it really slowed me down because I had to, I'm a right-handed. I couldn't use for a month my right hand. I have to get used to using one hand. And then I realized like a couple of days ago, I was thinking about it. I was like, wow, like I was always, when I was doing a healing, because my right hand was the dominant hand, it was everything with the right hand. I was hardly using my left side. And by getting this, going through this drama or accident, eventually I shifted to my left side. And the other day I thought to myself, I said, how wonderful that was. I wasn't conscious that my two sides wasn't balanced. And this accident brought me into switching to the other side. Now I'm doing a lot more. Even when I'm channeling on my own, I see instead of my right hand moving, now my left hand is moving, right? So the universe somehow has brought into that yin and yang and the balance from both sides. But then again, this happens still when I was going too much, you know, with our Instagrams, we got to do this. And I was so busy in the outer world that I wasn't giving myself enough time to quiet down and to meditate. And now this led me to get back to my full essence and slow down. So do you think when we go through these accidents or injuries and that stuff, is that a universe message like, hey, you're going off ramp, you're missing the point? What do you think about that?
100%. The amount of injuries I've had, and I can't think of one injury I've had when I was acting in the right way. not one. Like, so,
Yeah.
first major injury I had, I was a student of Taekwondo with my dad, and I did a really high kick, but I came at him really aggressively because he'd annoyed me earlier on in the day. My dad is the strongest man I've ever known. I've literally, when my finger got trapped in the door, he kicked the door and it dented and my hand came out. Like, that's how strong my dad was. And I surprised him, but I also gave him this kind of toxic energy that I was sending towards him. He went, span around, my arm snapped. You know, although I didn't think it was bad at the time because I wasn't crying, and everyone said, if you broke something, you'd be crying. But anyway, so that was the first major injury I had. You know, I also had a near-death experience with an almost very successful suicide attempt when I was 15 years old. I remember working in a stockbroker and getting drunk and, yeah, not like kind of being really arrogant. And I had a lift home, but I said, my bike's there, let me go out and get it. And I'm on the bike, and then it starts sliding to one side. The whole world is at an angle. I'm like, what's going on here? And I land on my chin, and my legs are over my head, and I'm on my chin. I could have died. Like, I literally could have snapped my neck. But the two most major ones after that, where there were injuries, was in Peru, arguing with my partner. Very egotistical, start climbing the mountain without any respect for the mountain and the spirits that are present. Climbing up, like, keeping the anger going, and then came down a different way, didn't take care, and then I fell. That's an interesting one. I'll get to the message shortly. I fell about 35 feet and fractured my spine. I didn't know I had a fractured spine at the time. I couldn't walk for 2 days, and I drank ayahuasca 2 days later and was walking in that ceremony. And that was when I was like, what? I've heard things, but that's insane. So the message in those times where I've gone in with aggression or, oh yeah, and the last one I'll say as well, it's 3 years later, 2016, I fell 4 stories from between 2 buildings. I'd been locked out by a flatmate who I had a conflict with and who didn't want me in the house. And I knew that the roof was open. So between 2 blocks of flats, with my anger, I climbed between these 2 walls. I get 4 stories up, I fall. And, you know, I could show you now, but I know some people don't like feet, so I won't put it on, but I've got these scars all up and down my foot because of the surgery, but I could have died. And all of those times was humility. All of those times were teaching me, like, that if I move with anger, if I personally, like, some people get away with it. Some people were angry, they're abusive, and they somehow manage to make things work. For me, I was being told that every time I move with anger, or arrogance, or lack of awareness in any situation that's slightly dangerous, I'm creating a situation where I might cause harm to myself, but also as someone who is a teacher and a leader, I will harm others. So those checks of me and those near-death experiences, or psychedelic deaths, which are usually extremely safe, but you lose everything that you are and go through to something else. Like, all of those have had lessons, but the psychedelic death was really the lesson where I got taught what my voice was meant to do, how to use it, and I, you know, was speaking with elves, angels, whatever you want to call them, like these expressions of divine consciousness that were showing me how to use my voice as a form. So essentially, I think the reason why we have danger, sometimes we think we're invincible, and sometimes we are invincible, but sometimes we're not. And if we walk around every day thinking that we're always invincible and we can therefore do anything, sometimes life has to give us a reminder. And those reminders, they're like, you know, you never see a tightrope walker who fell. And, you know, if they're going to do it again, it's because they love it and they never fall again, you know, because they've learned that slight miscalculation. I think it all comes back down to presence. So we don't bring every affliction into our lives. Some people will say they do. For argument's sake, for empathy to people who identify as victims of anything, I'm not saying you bring everything into your life, but essentially when we have things like physical injuries, physical sicknesses, they all relate to something within our vibration. And if we can learn from those, those experiences that can be extremely harmful, that's where, in particular, as a shaman or as a coach or as someone who can support someone else through that experience of your trauma and transcending it, you get a lesson. You learn how to hold space and to pay more attention and to be more present in the moment. So yeah, that's my view on that.
Yeah, I like when I had my near-death experience, but the major, because I wasn't wearing the seat belt. So when the accident happened, I hit my chest to the wheel, and then I went with my forehead, boom, to the windshield, and then back again. And all that impact just messed up my vertebrae from the top here all the way down. So the doctor said, oh, you're going to become a vegetable. You cannot do. And then after that, I started to really getting into training, and I fit myself. I made so many exercise DVDs and blah, blah, blah. But I'm still, I mean, up to today, I still have neck pain, shoulder pain. You know, there's kind of like this thing of, but the way I translate it is that I'm very stubborn. Like this path, honestly, this path of like healings or what I have to do or who I come here, my mission, I'm not taking it easily. You know, I'm constantly fighting. It's just like the universe gives me the message, and instead of saying, oh, how wonderful that I got the message. Okay, this is or I'm going off ramp, or I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I putting a fight with it. And every time I put a fight with it, something happens. It's not, I don't translate it that this is a punishment from the universe, right? It's not in no means is the punishment. But when I don't listen, I'm hearing and I'm not listening and I'm not surrendering to it. So then something happens and that slows me down. And then I have to say, I was like that as a kid. You know, I don't know what it was. Ever since I was a little child, whatever would happen, I would be the first one to get myself into accident. Like I was just ready to get myself to break my feet or break my arms or do something about it. And that has been because of the stubbornness. So what I'm saying right now is we can translate things any way or in any form that we want, but we have to understand it is not a punishment from the universe. It's just that sometimes we need more attention to get right on our path, and some people just listen and they just follow. So that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually feel not that my injuries, because I do still have some pain here and there from what happened. I don't see them as punishments. I see them as gifts. And you know, I think it was Isabel said, it shows that you're a bad person, or
no, nothing like that.
It's nothing to do with that. It's like actually, you know, everybody goes through these things, and sometimes you need something to wake you up, something to actually, you know, bring you into the moment of awareness to go, oh, there's actually consequences, and I need to watch, I need to pay more attention, I need to take more responsibility for myself. How we translate these things as a message or karma? Somehow I translate these accidents as karma to myself. So
what do you want to say? Let's break it down. I mean, we have so many definitions and meanings on karma. What is karma to you? So
I think it's an ongoing relationship with cause and effect through many lifetimes, through many experiences. I think painful and difficult things happen to people who have a good heart. I just see, you know, people think you're a bad person. Well, I mean, you know, what people think is really not ultimately that important. It's not your business. You know, people could think I'm a fraud. People could think I'm I'm putting on an act so that I seem approachable and really I've got ulterior motives. Like, it's not my business what people think. What matters is ultimately how you show up, how you live your life, and the things you do when no one's watching. That's really where I fear karma has more power. You know, not in when you're being observed and you need to appear that you're doing good things, but actually when you live your life. You know, I go by, so I do a lot of study with Kemetic philosophy, or as some people say, Egyptian. I prefer to say Kemetic because of what they call themselves. And that philosophy itself is, you know, at the end of your life, your heart is weighed on a scale against the feather. And if it's heavier than the feather, your soul gets consumed and you get put back into life cycles, so to speak. And they speak about if your heart is lighter than a feather, then you transcend up. And if you know the names of power through whatever faith or lineage that you have, because there are many words and languages of power, you can pass on to a higher vibration and not be caught in the karmic cycle. The karmic cycle, I think, is what keeps us in a washing machine. If we've still got dirt to get off, we still need to rotate and get rinsed. That's essentially the metaphor for what I think karma is. It's not a judgment. It's not saying you're a bad person or you're a good person. It's just literally a tally of where, you know, for example, my whole life I had dreams of like drowning very deep at sea, and I had this heroic fantasy of like, oh yeah, maybe I owned a ship, or maybe I had an honorable death like a slave who jumped from a ship or something like that. And then when I saw that past life, I was a pirate, and I wasn't any pirate. I was a pirate that by pirate standards was a disgusting human being. And I don't judge people, but an absolutely disgusting human being. And if I did one of the hundreds and hundreds of things that I did when I viewed that life in my dream state, I would be disgusted with myself. But this being has done all of that. However, here I am. Honestly, this is my last time as being a human until I choose to be able to incarnate physically without being born into the karmic cycle, because I aim to wash everything and take responsibility for it. We all make mistakes, we all do things that are not the ideal thing, and they're not even mistakes, they're steps on the way to doing things correctly. But there's many things that I've done that have caused pain, or not been productive, or not been kind, or maybe been cruel, and ultimately I wash those things away so that even though I've done them and I'm not without what we would call sin, I won't call it sin, maybe destructive energy. I'm going to look back and go, why I atoned for that, and I had this impact in the world, and I was able to share this level of medicine with these people, and I atoned for that in this way, and I found a way to, it's almost like a bank account. It's almost like karma's like a bank account. And, you know, money and karma actually probably have more of an interesting relationship than we think, you know. Not everybody who has money is a good person. And not everybody who does, a lot of people who don't have money are really good people. A lot of people with money, you know, it's not the indicator. There's wonderful people with more money than terrible people. There's terrible people with more money than wonderful people, if you want to judge them. So, yeah, I think that's how I view karma. It's like, a little like account of what's been going on and what process you have to, you know, I don't want to say atone for sins because it's very Christian language, and although I was raised Christian, I'm not, and I definitely follow Christ as a consciousness. I want to find a better way of putting it rather than sin, just acts which carry a heavy vibration rather than a light vibration. That heaviness gets attached to your experience as a being, as an energy force. So that's how I view it.
Now, here's the way I look at karma, because, you know, as you know, I am the same way too. I channel a lot of informations, right? So many, many years ago, I got this that I really got it when I see it into a trance. You know, we might hear something, or we might read something, or some guru might talk about it, but it doesn't really resonate unless we kind of like channeling it, which our mind, our conscious and subconscious is not involved. So somehow we really get it. And this is what I got, that Yeah, we all know there is no concept of past or future. There's only this minute, right? So I was
Yeah.
getting that we cannot, this is inaccurate to call our other lives as past lives. Why?
True.
Because there is no past. If you're saying my previous life or my past life, that means there is another time which they call, but in reality that doesn't exist. So if we're having multiple lives at this moment happening, the only thing that is happening is that whenever our conscious shifting to one of these lives, that could be 1800 or it could be 20, as if we can call it a time, 2080, is all happening here right now. So now
Yeah.
if we want to connect this into karma, how can a karma exist? Because in this life, I'm a really good human being. I'm helping a lot of people raise their consciousness to a higher consciousness. And then in another life, I'm the biggest liar, criminal, and I'm like, so how does karma fit into this if we're having many lifetimes happening right now? Then am I being karmically affected with this life or that life or what? That's not, do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that definitely the karmic resonance and the idea of time passing is a symptom of the modern life where we consider time to be a reality. So in that we have a perceived past and future. And as we get closer to the ascension, and I believe most likely the ascension is something that allows us to transcend those time and space limitations. So in order, as we get closer to that timeless point of the most high divine light that we are sourced from, the karma rubs off. They will not being held down by those concurrent, those parallel universes, so to speak, those parallel lives. Time is a construct and can be a very, very real one, but it's still not the ultimate reality. The ultimate reality is free of time and space. So I would say that karma, the more karma we're carrying, the more densely we're within that time space construct and within a specific laid out vibration for a lesson, because ultimately I feel that the oneness that is essentially the blackness of the womb, and the spark of life that comes out is the separation that allows us to have experience. So from the most separated point to the most unified point, we have a lot less experience. We have a lot less actual story or things to interact with and ways to interact. So as we keep rising, we essentially start to be the same thing in all moments, rather than I'm sad today because my dog died. I'm tired today because I didn't sleep last night. We become the same identity of matter, and we become consistent in all moments. And also, within that, the paradigm to be able to create the time and the parallel reality, so we can have the joy of experience and distillation and separation. Just my personal opinion, but yeah, that's how I see it.
Let me respond back to Nirvana. Nirvana asked, do you know how we can stop coming back to Earth when we die? Now, I'm going to let him answer that. But Nirvana, since you've been with me for a while, I think you can understand what I'm saying. If you look at through this lens that we have multiple lives, right? And at each life, like I said, at this life I'm a king, I'm an amazing king, and at this life I'm killing and doing blah blah blah. If we're having multiple lives here right now, they all happening, and at each time that my conscious shift to one becomes real, right? So what part of it do you want to skip and not come back here again? Because this is my feeling. That's why I'm saying I don't really believe in karma, because I'm thinking, okay, because as human beings, we are multidimensional. So we can experience and take many different lessons, and these lessons could be at different grades. Maybe at this life I'm going through my kindergarten class, and here I'm going to get my master's, but I'm experiencing like everything, being a good person, being a bad person, but it's not necessarily a karmic thing, rather than me experiencing many different things. So do we ever, you know, leave and go, so what happens to the soul? Do our souls really leaves and then cannot come back here again, or experiencing, or where is it that you think your soul is going or ascending? What do you say to that? What is your opinion? I love to hear your opinion.
Yeah, I see exactly where you're coming from. For me, the only reason karma is real is because it's a word that's uttered. So for me, I respond to what karma means for me. You know, the experience and the distillation and the light and heavy energy, the energy that brings us into ascension, the energy that brings us into solid 3D realm, that takes us into other dimensions, that takes us into a higher point of awareness. So in order to, you know, if you want to stop coming back to earth when you die, ultimately, I feel that it is to be of so much service, to continually serve to the point where your vibration itself is lifted by the universe, as opposed to suffering, because all of the suffering we go through is part, again, of the story. And I think if we're looking for purpose within that suffering, or we're looking to alleviate the suffering, it all comes back to service, serving ourselves, and obviously serving the planet, the people, the vibration, the cosmos. So my personal experience, I'd be irresponsible if I told you, hey, this is what happens when you die. But I have my theory. I have my my studies that I've done. I've had my out-of-body experiences that I've had with and without the aid of plant medicines. And in terms of that, you know, from my reality, I feel I'm not going to choose to incarnate as an energy form that stays as a human from birth to death, but as an energy form that can observe and experience things in the specific moment, and, you know, be of a higher vibration of service, so that it's almost like, I don't know, it's all imagination. We make everything up. So what, like this is how I imagine myself ascending and being in the forever living afterlife, and the awareness of being all things while still having the distillation of experience. It's, you know, it's funny because words can never really do it justice. And, you know, we could, you and I think if we weren't so connected vibrationally in the same similar vibration, we could sort of go back on words. We very easily, two people could have the same impressions that we both have and have a full-on argument, because they're so attached to the words as opposed to the actual vibration of the message. And that, for me, it goes back to the whole thing about voice, shamanism, service, and healing, and higher vibrations, life and death. So yeah, that's how I imagine it to be.
Do you know something? One of my friends, she's really into this stuff. She said to me that from today on, we can have 3 or 4 people joining the Instagram. Did you know that? Instagram started that today.
They started that today.
Yeah, we can have, we're not obligated to just do 2 on Join Live. We can do 3 or 4 people. So here's the thing, Nirvana, let's test this out, because I don't want to message you on private. Try to send me a join request and see if that's true. Is it working already? And we can get you also on board to see, because Nirvana is the one that I asked. I said, tell me, why do you think you want to go and never come back here again? Because so often I'm saying now this is my invitation. Let's look at it this way. Okay, try Nirvana. Thank you. Let's say that I come here just to kind of balance, like how much of my ego, how much am I becoming like ego driven, and how much of it is like I'm coming from the heart, soul, or higher consciousness. Isn't this a plan that for us to come and play this hide and seek and see how much of our soul can join? Because this would be two completely different movies, right? If I come solely from my heart and from my mind and ego, I can make this like hell, and I make it so difficult and so much suffering. But I have a choice to come from the other side, heart and soul, and make this into a heaven and enjoy it. So if I have this capability to do this, do I still have a reason not to be here and not to wanting to come back again?
I'm going to have to really answer this quickly because I have a minute till I have another call that I need to be on. So it's been an honor joining with you. If anybody wants to follow me, I'm Marv Radio. You can find me marvradio.com and at Marv Radio on Instagram. So I think ultimately we have a balance between being infinitely powerful and being the creator of our life, and also being powerless and surrendering to something greater. So ultimately, whether we're choosing to manifest or stay in the divine light or whatever, there is a whole spectrum of experience for us humans to navigate, and we are so blessed and so fortunate that we can do that. And we can have that whole experience where we can, you know, we can live in material realm, we can potentially astral travel and all kinds of things. So with that being said, I'd love to talk a lot longer.
We
actually,
do that another time. So tell us
yeah.
again, where can they find you, and when is it that you're doing your live or your?
So the best thing to do to follow and join the sound healing that is on Saturday, called The Elevator. It's at 8 p.m. UK time. So I think that is now for you guys. So it's at whatever time it is for you now, which is what, 12, something like that?
Right now in Los Angeles is 11 a.m.
Yeah.
right now.
11 a.m. So it's 8 p.m. for us. So it'll be at this same time on Saturday. You can find out everything about my events at marvradio.com/events. You can find me under Marv Radio, MARVRADIO, on all platforms. And yeah, just follow me, send me a little message. Sorry, yes, it's 7 p.m. GMT. It will be, thank you. It will be at 12 o'clock because I'm in Spain and I'm not in London, and I still sometimes think in GMT because a lot of my audience is in London. But yes, so that will be actually 7 p.m. GMT, 12. 12. No, sorry, it will still be 11 a.m. No,
okay.
It'll be 12. Right, 12. I've got it now. It will be 12 o'clock in LA. It will be 8 p.m. here in Ibiza, and it will be 7 p.m. in London, UK, and certain parts of Africa and other places. And it's called The Elevator. It's actually called The Elevator Meet Your Medicine Archetype. So it's or your medicine avatar. So this is a guided visualization with sound, so that you can find what your medicine to the world is that you're bringing, and step powerfully into that using subconscious techniques, sound healing, and the voice, and shamanic techniques. Basically a mix and merge. For me, just to kind of bring it back to the question you brought, the idea that we can choose and pick and choose and mix and merge so many realities, I think that's one of the greatest luxuries that we have, is that we can have variety. We can have so many different realities. And you're right, we don't need to moralize it as good or bad behavior, karma. We can actually transcend and raise above that. But, you know, whatever, if somebody holds a word to be important to them, I'd like to be able to respond with what I think that word means. So yeah, I've really enjoyed being on this call today. It's been like I've been feeling this constant energy rushing through. I don't know if you've been feeling it yourself, you yourself, or anybody watching, because it's felt very exciting and very. We're in an empowering time. We're in a challenging and empowering time. So be the best you. Be you to the full. Beautiful.
It was beautiful. Thank you so much, and everybody is following you. So we'll see you this coming Saturday.
Thank you so much. Take
Bye
care.
bye, love. Thank
Have a beautiful
you.
evening.
Bye. Okay, Nirvana, you can send a join request now, honey. We weren't able to do that. Yeah, okay. Nirvana sent a request now. Sahar, did you get that? That now that we can have 3 or 4 people in our lives for now. Bye bye, Patty Sajun. Okay, Nirvana, can you do that? Let me see who is this Kush Manush who always sent me a request. In every live that I go, let's see. What is Indigo Child? Indigo Childs are like empath. They are the new kids, new generations that are light beings, and they come with a different DNA, and they're much more aware, and they're, yeah. So basically it's like when we say light workers are people who come at this time to help out people to come up to a higher consciousness and more lights and more love, and by their beings they kind of sending out more light. They living life as an example for everyone else to understand what it means. Let me see why they cannot join me. Turn off request to go live. No, cancel. I don't know what your problem is, honey. You probably, I don't know how to pin his address. He needs to, is it a guy? Or I wanted to talk anyhow with Nirvana. I'm sorry you can and have it. What? Isabel is on her story. You can go back and check. It wasn't Isabel. Is that Isabel who wants to join? Because it's coming with under some other name. Is that Isabel? Let me find. Let me find what's the name of it. Isabel, I got you, and I'm gonna see. I sent you a join live. Let's see if you can join me. But I wanted to see if I can get Nirvana. No, that's not her, Sarja. This the one who's coming under Kamoshian or something, and I can't even find Nirvana now. There she is. Nirvana, I added you to do a live. Okay. So let me talk about this, guys, and see if what I'm saying is not written on stone. So you guys probably
Hello.
Hi, Lovey. Are you in the beauty salon again?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay, Nirvana. What were you saying? What did you want to talk about, honey?
I just ask how can we when we die, okay? I mean, how can we stop coming back to the earth?
I heard that, but did you get my explanation? Yeah.
Yeah. I get all your points.
Okay, so what is your thought on that?
I really love life, okay? I didn't love it so much before, but now that I'm working on myself and I'm listening to you, It really has changed my life, and I really love you. But I think I really like to go to higher dimension, and I really like to, I don't know.
Okay, Nirvana,
I'm so excited talking to you.
Okay, hold on 1 second, honey. Hold on. Let's take a deep breath, because what I'm saying for all of you guys, what I'm saying right now, you got to be able to hear and understand what I'm saying. Let me repeat myself one more time.
Okay.
If there is no past and there is no future, that means we don't have past lives. We have multiple lives that are happening right now here. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I have one life here that I'm on a higher dimension. I'm a conscious being that I'm on an 8th dimension, right? And
Yeah.
I'm working as a guru, or by the way I'm living my daily lives, I'm teaching people how to be loving, how to speak their truth, and blah, blah, blah. Right here next to it, I have another life that I'm fully ego mind driven. I'm stressed out, I'm this and that, and I'm consciously getting myself into chaos and making problems and issues. I have another life here next to this that I'm living a harmonious life. I'm a wife, in a happy marriage, raising children, being a school teacher, and blah, blah, blah. I have another life here. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically what you're saying to me, because I hear that from many people, oh, I want to leave and I don't want to come back again. How can I not come back again? This is coming from someone who is very much ego mind driven and had made this creation right here on this life so terrible, with so many suffering and so much pain, that want to end it and never come back again. This is not coming from someone who's coming from a higher consciousness, more awake human being who's not living and as an example, but also helping others. Does this resonate with you?
Maybe.
No,
Now
there's
that
no
I'm
maybe.
thinking.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, if you get it, if there's no concept of past, then there is no past lives, right?
Yeah.
If there's no future, there's no past. The only real time is here right now. Therefore, I could not have a past life, because in reality and higher dimension, there's no concept of time. So I can have a past life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even
Yeah.
what I'm calling as my past on this life, it's not a different time zone. It's still here right now. So if I'm going through my life here and I'm thinking about when I was a 10-year-old, the trauma of my father getting killed in a car accident, that is not in the past. That's still happening here. And only in consciousness, wherever my consciousness goes, wherever my attention goes, that becomes real to me. Meaning, right now, I can, when my consciousness shift into that trauma of my 10-year-old, that never began and it never ends. This circle is happening. And I can be consciously coming here and on this loop and re-experiencing this trauma over and over and over and over again until my consciousness shifts to this moment, and I'm going live with Nirvana right now. And this life has never started and it will never end. This is constantly going. It's only that my conscious is here right now.
Wow.
This is something for you to sit, contemplate, to observe. This is not understand. Your mind cannot understand this. So don't try to logically understand it and make sense of it, because your mind is not able to absorb and digest this. Therefore, right now you say, yes, I got it, but 2 seconds later it's like, it's gone.
Yeah.
This
I
is
have to watch it over and over. Yeah.
This is
That's
something,
great.
see, what is a stomach for? Our stomach is filled with microbiome, good bacteria, bad bacteria, germs, and, you know, digestive tract, all the juices like your enzymes and everything, it's in your stomach. This information is something that needs to be first fed, then it has to go through so many processes for the acid to release, for the enzyme to release, for the breakdown of the food, and then for the waste that is being taken away. This takes time. So stay with me, guys. If you can get this, then you understand there is no such a thing as karma. It doesn't make any sense that, oh, today this happened to me, this accident, because my past life, that drama, I was a bad person, so I brought that here, and this is the karma. It's not like that. You don't have a past life, so you cannot be affected by a different lifetime, because every individual life is a lesson, is life learning lessons, and they're different. So this is like, let's say, if you went to college and you took chemistry, the outcome of that would become something else. If you studied biology, the outcome would be something else. If you took mathematics, it would be something else. You understand?
Yeah.
So neither one of these are good or bad. They're just choices. But each choice has its outcome and consequences, which is going to lead you to a totally different experience.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
love
thank you.
you.
I love you too, honey. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Okay. Bye, honey. Love you.
I love you
Okay,
more. I'm
guys.
gonna show up soon. One day.
Okay. All right. All right. No problem. So, guys, hear me out. Yeah. So hear me out, guys. The more you're going to search for something out there, the more confused you're going to become. The more you're going to learn how to do this kind of healing or that kind of healing or this dimension or that dimension, the more and more you're going to get confused. Remember, you come out with this whole knowing. I keep repeatedly telling you, Whatever I'm telling and sharing with you guys, it didn't come from a book. It didn't come from a master or guru. It all comes in the moment of pure silence. That silence allows you to understand and hear everything. Have a blessed, lovely day. See you guys. Please don't forget to write comments, guys. What do I have to do to get you guys to write comments? I need your feedback. I close the information window. Ferry, welcome. I need to talk to you. Sometimes I tell myself, what's the point of know all the things in the world? When I die and get back my memories, I remember everything. That doesn't make any sense. If you're gonna say, well, what's the use of me learning all these things and then I'm gonna die, so all that information is just gonna be wasted, that's not correct. Okay, we wanna know things, but what I'm just differentiating between something that you're reading and learning and something that it comes automatically and is within you and is in that silence. These two are different things. So the first step is clarity. What am I saying? Why am I saying it? And where is this information coming from? Yes, I did a lot of studying to become a sport and nutrition and herbology and psychology and blah, blah, blah. All this thing was for me to make a living, doing something. These were all a job. And we all need, in the material world, we all need to have a job. But then again, there is another part of me when it's letting go of all that and shutting down everything, then it's inside of me, and that's the whole knowing. When I tap into that and when I come from there, then there is something profound that is like boom, is effective. It's touching me and it's affecting humanity on a much bigger level. And that's what I'm talking about. And that's where I'm trying to lead you towards. All right, everybody. Bye-bye. Ferry John, send a message from Instagram and I get in touch with you. Bye, everybody. See you soon. Don't forget to write a comment, share, and let me know what has helped you guys. What did you learn from this live? What has helped you out? What areas you guys need more help? Okay, see you soon. Bye-bye.